Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mother Akasha and the Son's weekly Tree of Life classes. Let us begin with an opening meditation. Make yourself comfortable. And closing our eyelids, let's take a deep breath together. As we anchor our attention into our hearts, taking a few moments to be one with our heart flame, in loving acknowledgement and recognition of its presence within our hearts. Long ago, and perhaps in other embodiments, we began a great path of awakening. And in these seasons of awakening, there has been always a magic spark, a super electron within our hearts. And that electron has expanded into a living flame. And it is the great heart flame that governs all other flames of God that are to come forth within our physical garment, transforming our bodies to become temples of our divine nature, the great I Am. And today we have a much greater understanding of the Master's words when they teach us that we are beings of the sacred fire. And we just take this moment to love and bless that sacred flame that abides within our hearts. We acknowledge that we are spiritual beings. And we are embracing now our full resurrection. Our resurrection up and out of third dimensional realities, being raised up into the greater reality of our great God presence that knows only perfection. And we acknowledge that the power of resurrection in us is our path to freedom. And to all forces, all divine forces, within us and above us, that come with our cooperation to lift us and raise us through the various passages of resurrection, we are so grateful. We are so grateful. And we are so grateful to know that beyond the edge of our mind is a light that is so bright. And it is that light that one day shall reveal the greater love that Mother Akasha spoke of last week. The greatest love of all. A love that each of us must be prepared to face once again. And so through our great God presence, we turn our attention to Mother Akasha, who knows most this journey back to love that each of us have chosen. And we call upon Mother Akasha in these days and into the new year, in the opening months of 2015, to so prepare each of us to face the greatest love of all. For it is this love that is the final power of resurrection. It is this love that opens the door to everything. It is this love that opens the way for us to comprehend our oneness with the energy of life and to experience that oneness. And all that we must be prepared for to face that which Mother Akasha spoke of last week. We call upon the Divine Mother and other holy mothers of the Ascended Host, Mother Mary, Grandmother Anna, Mother Metta, Mother Nada, Mother Vesta, to assist us. We call to each of them and their own angels, the great cherubim, to blaze the rose-pink flames of divine love, will, and grace in, through, and around us, to bathe us, to hold us in the rose-pink flames of divine love. And the more that love of the rose-pink flames gets into our minds, our bodies, and feelings, with ease and grace, each of us will move through that passage of facing that impact upon each of us that occurred in the fall from grace. Mother Akasha and all sacred mothers of the heavenly realms, we love you, we bless you, we thank you for your service to life. We call upon you and your angels to attend each of us, all the students of the Radiant Rose Academy, and to blaze, blaze, blaze the rose-pink flames through the substance of our minds, bodies, and feelings, every moment of every day. We thank you. And we reach out to the mighty Saint Germain, the great Germain, and his angels, to continue to attend us with Saint Germain's violet purifying flames that provide the purity that our outer selves require, and continues to dissolve and consume the impact that duality has had upon our lives. And we reach out to the ascended Jesus Christ, whom we just love and adore, who has walked this path of resurrection ahead of each of us. Come, Master Jesus, with your own seraphim angels, and blaze, blaze, blaze your golden flames of illumination through the substance of our minds, bodies, and feelings each and every day. We are so grateful for the knowledge and the use of the sacred fire. We call upon our mighty I Am Presence to continue through our own relationship with our presence and through the great ascended masters to continue to teach us everything that we are ready to comprehend regarding the sacred fire and its endless universal blessings to life. We are so grateful. Deep breath. And now, beloved hearts, let us call forth the protection that is offered to each of us. Our beloved great God presence I am, great ascended host. We call upon you each day to continue to enfold each of us in your great cosmic armor of light, a shield of cosmic light substance, of electronic light, drawn down and around us and below us. Seal us in thy great cosmic tube of light that makes each of us invisible to the discord that yet exists in the outer world. An armor of light that makes us more sensitive to the golden voice of God that speaks through our hearts each day. We thank you. Beloved Archangel Michael, we love you, we bless you, we thank you for your presence. And we call upon you and your angels to continue to sustain and maintain a wall of cosmic blue flames outside of our tube of light as added protection until we are free in our resurrection, our service, and ascension. We thank you. Mighty I Am Presence, great cosmic beings, Lord Melchizedek, Queen of Light, Mighty Victory, Goddess of Light, Lord Maitreya, we call upon you as you have taught us. And we call to you to enfold our lives, our homes, our loved ones, all the personal and business activities of our lives, and all means of transportation that we use every day in your ascended master walls of invisibility, invincibility, and vulnerability over all that is of human creation, human law, or the sinister force. And we accept your ascended master walls of invisibility, invincibility, and vulnerability drawn around each of us and all activities of our lives and our loved ones, every moment of every day. We thank you for this tremendous service, this divine intervention that contributes to the path of each of us being an untouchable. We remember the words of Jesus the Christ. No hand shall act against them. No force, no shadow, no darkness shall touch them. And they will be known as the untouchables. And they bear the heart and the mind and the holy cross of the Christ upon them. This path each of us have chosen. And we call upon Mighty Victory's victory to seal every one of us and our cosmic endeavors, our paths, our covenants. And we are Mighty Victory's victory in all we think, feel, say, and do. And we are so grateful for Mighty Victory's intervention that he offers to students of life around the world. Deep breath. Into our gathering and into the homes of all who consciously turn towards the light, we welcome the presence of angels. We love and bless the angels. We seek no proof of their existence, yet we welcome signs, we welcome signs, we welcome signs of the angels' presence with us. Come, precious angels, guardian angels, healing angels, angels of the sacred fire, the cherubim, the seraphim, angels of the music of the higher spheres. and the great central sun's angels of the immortal flames of cosmic Christ love be with us and assist each one to fulfill their higher purpose, their destinies, and the divine plan the mighty I Am Presence has for each one. And we call upon the blessings of the great ascended host to be upon, forgive me, we call upon the blessings of the great central sun to be upon the entire angelic host for their great service they provide us. We love them and bless them. Deep breath. And a glorious good day, precious hearts. Akasha is with you through the life stream of your mother, of your messenger. And I thank you, precious hearts, for your presence with me today. I wish to carry on a few thoughts of where I left off last week. Many of you indeed felt a surprise of the things that I spoke into. Yet I wish to assure each of you and encourage each of you that what I spoke into last week, you wish not to delay in any way. It is my responsibility to coach you, to help you, and to prepare you for this day that cometh. I have been with your messenger number one a few times. We have chosen the month of April. We have chosen the setting Calgary, Alberta, in the great Rose Nation, to be that place whereby the power of the great central sun command that we will clear the entire history of the impact of what happened to you. You have all cleared the impact, the seeming separation from the masculine principles of our universe, the Father, the light. You have moved through core perceptions. You have cleared the vast majority of them. The most difficult of all perceptions is what happened to you in that fall from grace some 13 million years ago. And by now you have given us license and liberty to discern what is the best timing to bring things to your attention. For it is through the higher mental body of each of you that a sun can determine your strength and your awakening, your experiences, the sum total of all of these things. Your reactions, your responses, your approaches, your attitudes, the totality of your impacting life, and life from the outer world impacting you less, and life from the inner place of your creation impacting you more. I'm going to turn a page and get back to these notes in preparation of what a son is going to begin speaking into you. And his discourses, let it be known, approval has been given by the great central sun that all his discourses from this time forward throughout 2015, and especially to the next Ascended Masters Earth Council in Salt Lake City, will be discourses of disclosure. So much is going to be disclosed to you. And some of those things will shock the atomic nature of your senses. You will quickly come to understand that those writers of that motion picture, The Matrix, came closer to the truth than you dare to dream in terms of understanding 3D realities as a matrix in which each of you can manifest freely and then come to understand how many seconds did each of you enjoy? How many minutes did each of you enjoy when you were born a baby into this embodiment? How many seconds, how many minutes? And in some cases, depending upon your environment and your mother and your father, maybe even how many hours when you were first born did you continue to enjoy what you knew, your oneness with life? And in coming into the outer world and being born, and even with such a small little baby that you were, your parents saying things to you, and they did not even know, they did not understand a thing you were saying. They could feel you. They could feel, or you could feel, as babies, you could feel their love. But when you were born, you only knew one thing, and that was oneness. Oneness with life. And as you began to be taught as a baby and a child, all the beliefs of the outer world, those beliefs preyed upon you, and that's P-R-E-Y, and they pulled you out of that oneness into a state of separation. Once that separation was implanted in the new current veil that you were born into, it just continued to feed everything that has supported your beingness and all the lifetimes you've lived from the time of the fall from grace, some 13 million years ago. 2015, my beloved hearts, has markers. I think you would understand how I would use that term today. It has markers. When you get into 2016, and you reflect on 20 and 15, you will clearly see the markers. And for all of this to happen, as I suggested last week, did I not have a discourse with you last week that you could not join your messenger and say, I didn't see that coming? Is that not true? Maybe there's a part of your being that sensed it, and I would say there's a part of your being that sensed it because once I discoursed it, you had the ability to understand what I was saying. Now, of course, any apprehension that comes up, that's because the understanding is missing comprehension. And that is my responsibility, to increase in you. And to make sure that the months between now and April and 2015, in the experience side of life, in the teaching side of life, allow you, when we come to that precious weekend, whether you are there in Calgary or wherever you are in the world, you are ready to connect with me, with the great central sun, with your I am presence, and with Jesus the Christ, to be raised through one of the most precious and important passages of resurrection. And once that raising has been accomplished, your coming to the well of life and drinking the love will be a daily thing that comes to increase. So in short, what I spoke of last Wednesday, and I began by encouraging each of you that it is a responsibility for every ascended master to be constantly encouraging you, especially when there are those masters who sometimes will come and get after you. We don't need to name them. We know who they are. And there's a reason that they're there too. Yet they too try to be a source of encouragement, to strengthen you. Yet as I suggested last week, we don't mean to suggest that you're doing so well that there's not anything left to face. Of course there's things left to face. Are you expressing perfection? Are you expressing perfection every day of your life? There are things then to be faced. There are two great activities of life that each person must face. And it matters not the dimensional reality you have been appointed to, because there's always the greater. And the two great activities of life that every individual must face is the masculine principle of our universe, that is the light, and the feminine principle of our universe, that is the love. The father principle and the mother principle. And how in heaven are you ever going to find your way back into the arms of eternal and cosmic love if you do not have the light that is showing you the way there? And if you do not have the sacred fire that is purifying you on the way there? And this, precious hearts, you have well in hand. And if you are not ready to face what I spoke into last Wednesday, I could not have been given the authority. It is your life that gives me the authority, not my life. I am who I am. I am what I am, and I am that I am. That is the truth of every living being. It is the truth that we anointed ourselves in the central sun, and it is the truth that has begotten each of you in the creation of your being. Yet that truth does not set aside what is to be determined. What is to be determined must come only with the authority that your own life says to us. And in this case, it's your higher discerning intelligence that says to us, our outer selves are ready. Do you understand? And so briefly, I'm not going to go into it. You can go back if you need to. If you haven't heard it, you can go back and listen to that. But briefly, what I suggested, there is coming a moment. You cannot plan it. In fact, if you try to plan it, it will go further down the road. It is best be a surprise. It is best you be prepared for when that moment comes. And that is a responsibility we will share together. Yet when that moment comes, as I said last week, it is a moment in which suddenly you feel, the first thing you are aware of, you are feeling more strongly than ever before. And your sensitivity that not only works through your faculties, you think of your sensitivities in your faculties, but your sensitivities and faculties work through your feeling side of life. This will be greatly increased over a period of minutes. These are the beginning minutes. You will know something is happening. You can feel everything. You turn towards a pet, an animal, and you can feel the love pouring off that creature to you. You turn towards your favorite plant, and you can feel the energy of that plant. Your senses, everything is increased. That lasts for about 2-3 minutes. And then it is like a whirlwind passes through you. And when that whirlwind has passed through you, it has deliberately, with the fiery hand of the goddess, it has removed the 3D experiential reality, the falsehood of God, of the mother, of compromised love, feigned love. That whirlwind will pass through. And what you will leave, what it will leave you with, because it will take all the things that have given you a sense of averageness, given you a sense of mediocrity, given you enough of a sense of life and all the limitations. That whirlwind will remove it. And what will be followed? And this is where your breath will be so important. What will follow is an emptiness you have not ever remembered experiencing. It will come with a loneliness. It will come with sensations that you feel so bare, so naked, and there is no one that you could reach out because no one could possibly understand. If you try to explain, I feel so empty. I don't feel love at all. I feel lonely. I feel so painful. And in that place, the next thing that follows so quickly is insights, awareness, deep realizations, comprehensions. You will realize things, for example, that a fear of intimacy in relationships is an action of what in this moment you feel so empty of. Where does that come from? Where does that fear of intimacy? Where does that come from? It comes from not having the love that is the fabric of your being in place. It would be the deepest riveting emotions, painful emotions you've ever been through. It may last for minutes. It may last for hours. It may last for a couple days. And you're going to hear this so many times so that it doesn't happen. It may last for a few weeks if you beat yourself up about it. But we're going to make sure that you don't beat yourself up. We're going to make sure that when that time comes, there is about one place for you. Where is my safety? Where is my safety? It starts with a big capital S. Surrender. Just stay in the moment. Surrender. Just breathe it through. This is a powerful hand of God that is taking from you everything, all the feigned love, all the complicated love, all the compromised love, all the love of mediocrity, all the love that can only create so much success, but it can't create genius. It can't create victory. All the human love, ripped everything that you have known through centuries of embodiment, ripped right away from you. The Master Jesus spoke of it in a different way. The time will come that like a bottle of wine that has been poisoned, that bottle must be emptied. It must be cleansed before that bottle is to be refilled. with the pure fine wine. And when that moment is finished, that whirlwind that just takes everything you know, and it has an intelligence that is with it. Your higher discerning intelligence is there. Your ascended master's sponsor is there. Your guardian angels are there. You're going to have to remind yourself that they're there. You might have to phone in and have a sick day. Best to not go out, maybe. But at the point that you think that you cannot take that level of emptiness any longer, you know you're there. It's done. And then you start being filled. You start being filled with waves, glistening, soft, ever so soft, gentle waves. They don't fill you, they pour through you. And as they pour through you, you breathe into them. And you breathe out and expand those waves. They are waves of the mother's love, of cosmic love. They are both coming from your presence and from myself, the cherubim, and other ascended master ladies who are stepping in. We are breathing waves of love through you. Love that will sustain you. Love that is so new to your entire being. And then with those waves, you'll start getting droplets directly of the greatest love of all, the mother's love. This is the love of the soul. This is followed by days and weeks in which your heart is knocking on the door to your soul. We are focusing at home and in classes. We are focusing in invoking the full, undaunted, shadowless light into the mind, pressuring that door to everything, your soul to open. Because you understand that just as your right mind is the mind of the Father, is the Christ mind, you understand that your soul is the heart of the Mother and the container, the formless container, that is the soul. The formless container that holds the greatest love of all, endless love, the love that transforms you and changes you. Do you think that it would be wise, do you think that you are safe to have a power of divine intervention be upon you that would make you, or rather, would allow you to feel your oneness with all energy once again? Do you think that it is wise that the hand of God would be allowed to be upon you to help you feel your oneness with life?
Yes.
You're not wise. Life is energy acting. There is plenty of energy that is acting destructively. There is plenty of God's energy that is acting destructively in this world. What thing can you think of must end first while you are strengthened? You see, it's the separation. Because in those few precious moments that I talked about when you were first born, you knew oneness. Your parents didn't. Your parents didn't even know that you knew oneness. If you were born and there were some roses on your mother's bedside table, you as a baby could feel all the life coursing through those flowers. Even if they were cut, they're still alive. As a baby, you could feel the life coursing through those. What things would you want to consider if you could be helped to realize the holographic nature of the atomic 3D world, in which things are really not as physical as you think they are? Are you ready to understand that time and space was never to be created to be a force that acts as separation, but it is. It's a force that acts as separation when you add in all the beliefs of humankind. But it was never intended to be that which would be an action of separation. Time and space was intended to be an energetic interaction with a third-dimensional hologram that would easily teach you the powers of manifestation, how to shift, how to shape everything instantly. Do you think that if the hand of God was to be upon you and return you to a place where you are one with all the energy of life? You see, life does not designate, life does not separate in the 3D reality that you are in. Don't you think that before the hand of God is upon you and makes you feel one with everything, don't you think that there has to be a resurrection of some other force? Don't you think that you have to be so raised in the fields of objectivity, in the fields of understanding true empathic reaction and interaction? Can you, in your oneness of life, because you are one with life, you could sense all life that is acting up in a destructive individual? Don't you realize that if you are not learned, if you are not trained, if you are not objective, if you are not specialized in the art of not taking on the energy of something acting outside of you, how do you become one with life without taking on that energy? Do you think that that is something that is valuable to consider? Yes. Because if you are one with life, you are one with life. Life is not going to come and pull this separation out but leave this separation. It's one or all. And so in metaphysics we have nice ideas of oneness because they ring true in your heart. Yet there must be that which strengthens you and teaches you. And it all started many years ago, as beloved as Son began to teach each of you, stop taking things on from the outer world. And the clearest way to stop that is stop reacting to what's going on. Because if you react to what's going on around you, you can inadvertently, unknowingly open yourself to those energies coming inside you. That was one thing he taught. A second thing he taught, live from the inside out. Live from the inside out. What has happened to humankind? Humankind, the sinister force, and the subjective reality of a third-dimensional reality has inadvertently made the entire race of people live from the outside in. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Black Fridays. Millions of people invading retail stores to get. It's in the very foundation of their human nature of which each of you are elevating up and out of. You can only, now mind my words, you can only permit the hand of God intervention upon your life that allows you once again to feel your oneness with all life when you yourself know you are a sovereign being. You can be one with the life of another, a flower, the most constructive person, the person that is acting the most destructively. You can be one with all of that, but you don't take it on. That's what you must prove to yourself. You see, you have a 12 million year history of duality here. You don't need to take on anyone's energy. You can be one and know. Jesus, in his ministry, and you've heard this before, and you'll hear it a few more times. He considered everything that you will face, everything that you will go through, and everything that must self-correct, self-adjust, every space that you must move into. He faced those things, he explained them. Jesus came face to face with those who loved him so much. Jesus came face to face. Jesus was one with life in its totality. Yet he came face to face with those who would assassinate him, those who were possessed by the human creation of Satan. He did not fear and run. Even he knew them because he is one with life. And he basically said to them, you best go before I change my mind. You best go and attend to your evil deeds before I take care of you. He was giving them a chance to run along and continue their evil deeds because they were not the purpose of him being in the world. You can feel that love through the feeling side of life. Of course, that is different. You have people in your station to life. But before the hand of God is ever upon each of you that allows you to feel one with everything. Must continue the education, and 2015 is going to deliver by a son and other ascended masters the most important education you have ever faced because you are strong enough to hear the truth about everything. And to realize, as you move through your resurrection in 2015 and 16, the only way the outer world can touch you is by doing things in which the outer world or the sinister force or the bad guys do things to try and create fear in you. Fear is what is going to lower your vibration. Light and love, the principles of life, is what's going to raise your vibration. You become untouchable. You become invisible because the vibration that you are carrying, that you're radiating, is so high that nothing in the world cannot touch you. And there will. And there is possibilities that some of you in 2015 will actually not be visible if you happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. A son has shown it to me. You'll all get there, but the Son has shown me some instances into the future. And as part of your own higher discerning intelligence design, where your vibration is so high that if you happen to be around some thieves or murderers, they just don't see you. Now, am I speaking of this being an accident, that they are just so focused on their thievery or destruction that they don't see you? No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that you literally become invisible to them. Someone at a distance, 100 or 200 meters away, might look and say, they'll see you, a bystander, and say to themselves, doesn't that person see the danger that they are in? Because they're far away and they're fairly good, constructive people. Do you understand the example I'm trying to give you? And so things about energy and getting your vibration up. And realize so many things in 2015. Aha after aha after aha. And even seeing the plans of one world governments, Illuminati, as the Son says, the bad guys. There's but one plan. And that is to create those conditions, those situations, on a national, international, and global scale that will create the opportunity for fear to increase in the mass population. With fear, to the bad guys that desire to control everything, there's nowhere you can hide. And that's not something. It's something you must be educated about. But it's something that's never going to touch your lives. You are all being prepared for this moment next year. What is beyond the moment that I talked about last week and the moment I briefly reviewed here tonight? It's what's beyond that moment that is so precious. It is the beginning moments where you can say to yourself, I'm home. Home is not a place. It's not a location. I'm home. I feel more myself, more alive than I've ever felt before. I feel my relationship with God, the Father, God, the Mother. I feel so close to the Ascended Masters, as if they're just upstairs on the next floor. Such pressure. It's the moment beyond. Whereas waves of love that the Ascended Master ladies are pouring through you, preparing you to face the greatest love of all. You are in great preparations. It is unfolding well. You are already having moments when you are where you are facing your higher Christ mind. It may not seem like it. And the action of that is more like moments in which brilliant ideas from your higher Christ mind are getting into your everyday thinking mind. And that's just going to increase, increase, increase. The final separation is when that veil between the seeming two minds is withdrawn. And then there's only one mind that you experience, and that is the mind of God. And the mind of God in the world of form is called the Christ mind. This work is well on its way. However, when you get closer to the all glory of its accomplishment, you have to face the great loss. What you experienced when you fell from the arms of the mother's presence, the greatest love of all, and the fall from grace. And I ask you, precious hearts, to begin qualifying that when that moment comes to you, it is a moment that will be filled with ease and grace. I will continue to attend to this, speak to it, into it, speak into the things that will strengthen you. And I feel by April, we are ready for a weekend in which is a whole group of students. We say goodbye for eternity to everything that has caused problems. The third dimensional reality was not constructed for problems. But the third dimensional reality on the planet Earth has become a place that is ripe for problems to occur. But that was not its original design. And to get that original design of 3D reality back on Earth, there must be those of you. You're called the untouchables. You break through. You restored yourself. You see things as they are. Are you ready for a path in which you know so much, but none of it is overwhelming? None of it. In which all of you can say to all that is dark, all that is sinister, all that is deceitful, I know you. 12 million years you've hid from me. I know you. And there's nothing else to say. You're about to embark upon this next leg of the journey. Only by emptying yourself of all fake love, love that has been compromised by the problems of this world. Only by having that history. Even the nice stories, precious hearts. Even the best parts of you that might show up one day and write an essay and write a story. After all, literature is filled with tens of thousands of essays about love. And William Shakespeare will be the first to tell you that in all those essays, there is one thing that is constant. The rise and fall. The rise and fall of love. The love that is so beautiful. And then the next moment, that seeming beautiful love becomes a torment that just rips away, as it did with Romeo and Juliet. And here is something so amazing that you're going to realize that in a moment that you can feel a love so rich, so precious, so fulfilling. And then in the next moment, experience a cause that rips the very fiber of that love out. The shock that will shock your senses is the realization that precious love that you felt, it's still of this world. And because of this world, it has a duality side to it. And it's the other side of the coin. But you can try to imagine what the mother's love is. Qualifiers, descriptives, cosmic love. So if you have a term, the shadowless light, what term of qualification will you find that speaks of love that is not feigned, that is not compromised, that is not fake? Love that has not been entreated by the third dimensional duality. What word will you come up with? I know the words. And I want to leave you with that tonight. You already have, because you have passed that place. It's the station that you're on. It's the passage that you're going through. The shadowless light. Embracing it in your decrees. What are you going to call? So you have today an understanding, and your experience is leading you to be able to comprehend the shadowless light. Have you ever tried to put a candle that is lit, a flame, close to a wall? And what do you see on the wall? The shadow. You see? That's not the shadowless light. Why? Because the fire element in your world has been compelled to take on the duality. You understand? So move away the candle flame that is made up of the elements of duality and go into a future time when you can just insert your finger into your heart and pull out a tiny unfed flame, and then hold that flame next to the wall and see if you see a shadow, my precious hearts, and you will know the shadowless light. Now this is your homework. Go to your higher discerning intelligence. If the light of God that never fails is qualified and known as the shadowless light, what is the qualification of the love that always fulfills? What words shall I use? What words shall I use? Immortal, eternal, invincible, victorious. I am going to leave that with you and your higher discerning intelligence. There is no apprehension in the words I have spoken last week and this week, is there? You trust? Yes. You know that I see and I bear my responsibility in seeing that as this has been brought forth to you, it is because you are ready, it is timely. And you will bathe yourself extra in the rose-pink flames of love. You will prepare yourself. And when that moment cometh, then the sooner the better, I will have right there the rose-pink flames to give me some comfort. And I know that whatever empty moments of pain and loneliness and separation, you'll feel the separation. You're going to feel 12 million years of separation. That is why you're going to feel so empty. Because that whoosh, remember that whoosh? Is going to take the history of all the compromised love. It's going to take it out. And you will be empty. The purity and the goddess of purity will work so close with us. Charity will work so close. They will drive in the purity and charitable flames to make sure that the container is so clean as we then send the waves of love. Oh, it's over. You will know it's over. I made it. I'm on the other side now. beyond the edge of my mind is the greatest glory of light. And therefore, I continue to march towards this light. Yet beyond that glory of light is the love that fulfills. And what is that love going to fulfill? It is going to fulfill the three causes of I am. I am what I am who I am that I am. As that love comes rushing up, the first mandate is to restore with deep comprehension the love that gives you the knowing. Remember, knowing. What did we teach you? Knowing comes from which? The mental body or the feeling body? The feeling body. God bless you, precious hearts. May this journey come forth. The more that you can recite and the more that you can remember and the more that you can understand the truth that is hidden in these words, I am a being of cause and cause alone, then everything that you go through, you will be the directing presence of all of it. I am a being of cause and cause alone. What is that, dear son? Yes, that too. And that cause is love, the most sacred of all tones. God bless you. I thank you. We love and bless you, Mother Akasha. We are so grateful for your love and your presence with us. And we call upon you, Mother Akasha, and our mighty I Am presence to precipitate the etheric pattern of the student body crystal cup before each of us and charge our crystal cup with all the energy of God's great protection, God's great health, and God's great abundance as the only presence and power of manifestation taking place in our lives. And we accept this reality now, and we are deeply grateful. Deep breath.